say
when that
no,
time is.
and they'd have
For the
to not
picture.
do it.
Oh, really?
So I put it out like 2 weeks, that way.
Be- be- be-
Make a plan.
Because it's in the TIF.
Oh.
This is the,
Well, we've had Andy's.
yeah, yeah, but
Yes, you do have to stay for the whole thing, Ben.
I made
Oh, yeah.
I made a hard
That's
copy.
right, I remember. Okay. I remember.
We just say, yeah, the Calvin's still there
Is that what you do?
right now.
Are you
It's just to
interested in
keep-
buying it?
Can you get the person who owns it to sell it?
We're asking.
Yeah, I think I just brought up
Well,
Nope,
can
you just got to
see
get the
where-
people, if you can get the people who own it to sell it, if you can talk them into selling it, that's,
Get Andy to buy it. He's bought everything else downtown.
they won't sell it.
No, they will.
Well, they will for a
Yeah, if you got a
wholly
bucket
and
of
utterly
money.
unfair price.
You're gonna get a bucket of money.
Okay, I think we will call the meeting to order of the Washington Historic Preservation Commission meeting on Monday, May 21st, 6 PM. May we have the roll call, please?
Carolyn Witt,
Here.
Steve Struberg,
Here.
Ryan Bogue, Rick Hop, Danielle Grotwheel,
Here.
Jamie Holtmeyer,
Here.
Andrew Clary, Bridget Kelch, Joe Holtmeyer,
Here.
Mark Hydrich, Susan Waterman,
Here.
Sal Maniaci,
Here.
John McCreary.
Thank you. If you'd all rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Did everyone peruse the minutes? And if there are any additions, corrections, or comments,
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
we have a motion.
I second.
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It was unanimous. Passed. Okay. Design review, 230, was that the correct?
3:30.
3:30.
I knew. I did notice that. 330 West Front. It's the new taco.
A new
Southside
name, new name for Tacolicious.
Street
Yeah.
side.
Right.
Side tacos.
And I did speak to Rick about this in passing, and he said that, and I'm sure Sal will have more to say about this, but he did say he had really limitations from the grants that he's received. So he's already operating under some
Really strict guidelines.
yeah, strict guidelines for where it's located, the size, all that sort of thing. But Sal, if you could tell us about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's exactly right. He's utilizing the historic tax credits, and so putting anything on the building and making new holes into the walls, that all has to be approved. But as you can see on there, I mean, it's well below the 5% minimum, or maximum that we allow. It's got the neon sign, so it'll kind of match what Driftwood and what the Landing has currently. There's no backlit or anything, so there's nothing that disqualifies it from being in the historic district. So
How much neon is on there, Ben?
The taco is neon. The little yellow stripes behind the tacos is neon, and there's a white border around it. That's neon. The street side and the whatever it says in the bottom,
SoCal.
those are modules lit, but you won't notice much of it. It's just so you can see them at night.
So they're backlit.
They are LED, yeah. But it's still, the thing is it's so small you can't do that neon.
That's a lot of neon.
It's
I
gonna
don't know if
be
that
amazing.
qualifies as,
And the thing is, what we did those that way, because Rick's first question is like, if the name would ever change, can that be changeable? And that is just a simple
Mm-hmm.
replacement face.
Right.
So
Do the neon lights move at all? Like,
I want them to. I just want the TACOS to kind of slowly, same thing like a Bank of Washington has, you know how it does a thing? I want to put he doesn't know this yet, it's kind of a surprise, so don't tell him. I was going to try to make the stripes go down with the arrow, but it got pretty complicated. So just the TACOS will probably just spell, and then on, and then off, and then spell, on.
oh, so the yellow won't.
Yellow's
won't
going to be
move.
solid.
It's just going to be.
Yeah, it's just too many, way too many circuits to make it do what I want it to do. But it's actually, I'm pretty excited about the sign. This is a good one to have, especially in the historic district, because, you know, we do these sign design contests all the time. There's like 4 of them a year, and we don't get too many signs that are worthwhile. This would be a worthwhile one.
That's good.
Rothschilds won an award last year, and then
I love
a
that
few of them
sign.
do. So we like to turn them in, and this is a cool one.
Sal is,
Looks something like Sugar Fire a little bit.
Nothing like sugar. You're right. That sugar fire is a sore subject in my book.
Color-wise, I guess you said.
Yeah, the colors, and that was the design. I guess Weber did that one, and we tweaked the fonts a little bit and made it. But that was brought to us. But I think it'll blend very nicely with downtown, with kind of the vibe. I was killing time a little bit earlier, and I drove around town looking at some of the stuff, and you know, good-looking signs make a difference. You know.
Well, and Rick said that he has to up the game being on this street with all this other action going on.
Yeah, we brought all this neon on ourselves when we approved Sugar Fire.
Sal, is there anything about flashing lights in the historic district, though?
I'm pulling it up. The
don't know
only thing
why
that
I-
we have about flashing lights from the historic district is we don't allow message boards.
Right.
Uh,
Because the Bank of Washington, you're right, that predates all of us.
Yeah, and neon, that's what used to be done with neon. You'd always see it's the movement, and all it is it's
That's what the Dutchess windmill does too.
yeah, the
The
wind.
old
Exactly.
Dutch, too.
Hmm. And it's something, it's not like it's what, the intensity is not there. It's more of an art type thing.
This is slow moving.
It is slow, and it would just be like, it looked like it's going out. T-A, it's not like it's gonna stream super
Right,
fast. You just
right.
say T-A-C-O-S, and then probably come on, and then T-A-C-O-S. So just, I mean, it's more or less is it becomes a feature, and it becomes something that people notice, eye-catching, and it's just kind of cool. I mean, Bank of Washington, if it was on all the time, it wouldn't be the same as
No,
it
it's
did,
not as-
you know, and it's not hideous, you know, it doesn't look bad.
Old Dutch the same way,
Yeah,
the windmill.
Yep.
that's neat.
Is this, Sal, do you know, will this be the only sign? Will Rick have any other signage for the apartments, or is this the only
This is the only
sign?
thing that's been submitted.
Yeah,
so-
he had said something to me about just a small, like maybe door placard or something like that that would say like unit, whatever, the address or something on it, but I don't think he.
And that actually wouldn't qualify as a sign that you need a permit for, if it's,
The
I just
only-
didn't know where we were at with square footage if,
The
oh,
only
right.
other
The
thing that
only-
he talked to me about was the old painting on the,
There, yeah.
you know, the.
Deb Shield is like poking him to put Herschel Bendheim huge across the top of the building again.
And I told him that that's. a
Painting the
new-
building's different also than,
Right, and that's what it would be. It would either be, well, Karen is loath to put paint on the brick that they paid so much to get the paint off the brick, but Deb Shields is who they're working with for their historic
Well, the
tax
vinyl,
credits.
he wants to do something down at the OC. He's renaming it and redoing a lot of that. So
Mm-hmm.
we kind of came up with a new logo. And that textured vinyl, I mean, I don't love what they did, what we did at Driftwood, because they used a gloss laminate instead of a matte laminate. And it just bugs me every time I drive by, because it really should have more of a flat finish.
To give it that
And
ghost
then
look.
it really looks like it's actually painted. It all becomes artwork then. So you could do the name across that, even look like it's weathered or whatever, and then it just applies to the brick. And we keep checking on Driftwood. It's holding up really well. I mean, we seal the edges, and even if it has to be replaced every 5 to 10 years, it's not paint, you know, and it's.
Yeah, I think that's,
Not a
and that's for us, I mean, they've spent a ton trying to get the paint off that brick. And Karen was she's like, I'm about to have a cow that we're thinking about painting Herschel Bendheim back on here.
Yeah, I would never paint.
Not that she's against, obviously, that's the name, that's what it was built for. It was built as a pork packing plant, but it was the corncob pipe factory longer.
With
But-
technology and the materials, this stuff has been created for things just like this, because they want to do something on these irregular textures and brick and old, but they don't want to hurt it, you know?
Right.
Like wraps are temporarily, but they're permanent, you know? Same concept here is they've taken, and people are doing this in historic districts all the time, where they
Give that feeling of a ghost sign without,
exactly, it's all faded out, looking old, and just like, it looks like a mural somebody painted, but it's really a thin vinyl that's basically worked into the brick, and it's permanent but not, you know?
right. So Sal, that wouldn't count for signs, because we didn't have to count that with
Yeah, when
driftwood
we did
either,
Driftwood,
right?
we did not have to count that against their.
And that's because it has no protrusion?
Right, well, and it's considered, you know, if it's painted on, like if someone wants to paint their building, it's not considered a commercial message.
Okay.
And that's something else too, you might wanna think, because somebody paints the whole side of their building with their advertisement or
Yeah.
something like that, that
Yeah.
becomes a language in the, I mean. 'cause
Oh, the
I have some
language.
people-
Well, I'm trying pulling up the new code to see if there's anything in there about painting, but
I don't think there is, because not too many people do it anymore.
Well, any other comments? And we really appreciate you coming.
No problem. I'm excited about this. And downtown signs, it means a lot to me to, I mean, even some of the thin aluminum, I don't wanna say boring, but you know, they're not,
Normal.
they're not real, I mean, you look at some of these really, I mean, beautiful, I'm not pointing anything, but like, we just did the olive, or whatever you say that.
Olivino.
Turned out, it's simple, just like the Blue Duck was simple, but yet it still looks like
It's very elegant and,
a piece of ACM flapping on a thing. I don't like hanging signs at all. Hate them. They fall all the time, and they gotta have all these they're terrible. So why don't you
Well,
put that in the
It
thing?
is really nice because you.
Tell us how you really
will you
feel.
please put in there, no
Yeah, I
crappy
know.
signs per
But
Ben
you-
Ziegler?
You are really a partner with this group in many ways, and we really need you to be aware of us, and we appreciate that because you become key in a lot of our, of the redevelopment, and we appreciate
Well, I
that.
appreciate that. We're actually, I'm part of the board of the International Sign Association, and, you know, it's globally, and there's, you know, the SRF, which is now, it's the Signage Research Foundation. They are basically, it's been around for a long time, but they rebranded themselves, and they are all about, I mean, they've got about a $2 million budget to $3 million budget a year just on education and helping towns preserve signage and, you know, helping the communities that want to not have a Las Vegas, but yet still want to give the rights to the patrons and the
Right,
business
right.
owners. So it's a huge, and the resources that they're putting together and the simplicity they're having. I've sent out a few things are unbelievable, and I can send you guys all a link. It's just great reading material, and it's
Yes.
simple, easy to read. Because they go around and do this, they work with the Chamber Association, stuff like that, to really help revitalize the branding of communities and downtowns.
That's great.
And sorry, I was pulling up the section of the code about backlit signs because I just wanted to be safe about this because this was the first one that's been requested since the code was adopted. And just because I want to be safe, you know, it does say backlit cabinet signs shall be prohibited in the historic district, national properties, unless determined as contributing by this commission. So I just want you guys to know that if you're voting on this as is, because I apologize, I didn't realize that the SoCal and the street side
Well, it's
were-
actually a channel letter, so it's not even a backlit sign.
It's not? Okay.
Channel letter, so like H&R Block, that's a channel letter,
Right, but that's what we were trying to prohibit.
okay.
Yeah.
It's almost you gotta look at too, it's a lighting element, you know, so.
Well, and I think that's why I remember when I wrote this, I put in that last sentence, unless determined, because I knew there was going to be situations where this board can determine that, look, there's a small portion that's defined as backlit, but it may not be something that
It's not
we're
a box
concerned about.
with
So
Yeah.
that's why I
plastic
wanted.
box with
yeah.
a light.
That's what we don't
Library
want.
sign.
Plastic
Right.
boxes with lights.
We don't want that. We
Yeah,
don't
I don't like,
Right.
well, it's funny you said, because she came to us wanting channel letters in the front. And I was like, you know, those gooseneck lightings and non-lit letters would look so much better downtown than that. And it was really a lot more money, but to me, it's like, it won't look right. I mean, it would look good, but it's not what you guys are all about, because then you've set a precedence, now you got it set on modern, or, you know, the old modern mobility, now
Yeah.
you got this, and I just, to me, this type of stuff, I look at it as like, from your point of view, and plus, I don't want to be that guy that tried to push something through for the wrong way.
Well, you know, we always have the struggle of, obviously, we need to continue to keep up with modern times, but still keep the flavor of our historic district, but it can't look dated, because dated is not what we're looking for either. So you got to figure out the balance between those. So,
Well, do we have a motion to award a certificate of review?
I
We
motion
don't-
that.
We have a motion?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
guys.
Okay, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, Historic District Survey.
They turned in milestone 8, I think, Friday. So they're wrapping up their actual field work, I believe, and now they're just consolidating the info. I've reached out to the state about the funding for phase 3. They're still in limbo. They have no clue. I, again, have requested it in the budget to be covered just so we can complete it. I don't know if that'll get kept in there or if it'll get pushed back to another year where hopefully funding will become available again. It's not like these things really expire. The surveys are done, the surveys are submitted, so.
And we'll get the value of the survey still, even if we can't push forward.
Correct.
with that, so.
And I have gotten a bid from Landmarks to just do the nomination process for the building by itself, the shoe factory by itself, because they're, I can call them interested parties, but companies that wouldn't even bother to look at redeveloping it if they didn't know that the tax credits would be available. It's got to be registered to get the tax credits. So, and it was about $9,000 to do that. That's going to be the cheapest way we can find it because they've done already half the work. That was their discounted price for that. I was a little bit surprised how much that was.
It's
but-
a ridiculous amount of paperwork.
Right, and they have to go in and take all the pictures. So I'm actually going to reach out to the owner to see if that's something, if they're really motivated to sell it, if they want to do that themselves.
That'd be
Well, I mean, and even if the owner has some sort of redevelopment plans, they're going to want to be able to, start with that historic tax credit to
Right.
stack on top of anyway. So I think it'll be beneficial for them.
Right, yeah, so I'm
Anyway.
saying if they're truly motivated to sell it, then that's probably step one. So I'm going to reach out to them this week after I got that bid back Friday. Because I was looking to put it back in my budget, and then I realized I could probably just reach out to them.
That's a good idea. It's to their benefit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I can't imagine how awful it is. It must be at the state, at SHPO or any of those state agencies where you're in limbo and not knowing.
They're always in limbo.
Yeah, but it seems worse at the moment somehow. Of course, I guess it's never good, but that would be a very hard way to try and operate.
They never really know what's happening. They don't get told.
No, no. Okay, do we have any education? I don't really, didn't bring anything tonight, but, okay, curb appeal nominations. Somewhere I saw some, was it in the paper? Someone was talking about some of the houses that have been worked on, like that, I can't remember where I read it, but there are things that you have in your radar. So this is exciting, that we've got,
Do you remember what the article was about? So
I wish I could remember where I
Okay.
saw it.
Well, yeah, we do, like I said, we do have a list of places we want to get to, and now that, it's nice outside and the flowers are blooming, and that's part of the curb appeal,
Yes,
we're a little
having
more
good curb
confident in
appeal.
reaching out to Jeannie to start that process, so.
So
Excellent,
we were thinking of starting with the Brick Rose and the Clarys.
excellent.
Clarys with their addition. I think their house is 100 years old this year.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I think.
That'd be a nice.
It might be next year. I can't remember. So, does anybody have a preference on day or time for photo? For me to reach out to Jeannie?
I don't know.
Morning.
Whenever.
Probably
Go ahead.
afternoon, I mean, like, on your way
It,
home?
it doesn't matter. I never know,
Well, you never leave. You're there, that's your
True.
home away from.
but I don't know. Whenever.
Give it a shot.
If I
Okay.
can make it, I can make it.
Yeah, we'll try.
All right.
Did we ever give Ralph Gilda House one?
No, but he is.
Just put his metal roof on and he
Yeah, I was gonna
reworked the
say-
dormer. And I think he came here and talked. I know he talked to me, but I think he talked to us too. Didn't he?
Yeah, and he's getting ready. He's gonna do. He's got that smaller roof on the back, and he's getting ready to do that as well. So,
Can include him.
yeah. I mean, do we want to wait till he's done with his other roof?
Yeah.
Because
Maybe
I
put him
had
on the
him.
list so we don't forget him. Cause
Yes.
I
I'm
have-
thinking of trying
I
some
have
of the
two
people
of
that
these
have
lists
come in
going.
here. And
Yeah, I have two of these lists going, and we have it's been a while since we've given curb appeal, so we've got a backlog of curb appeal that is within that 40-year that doesn't get the new award because we focused on that new award for a while. But I keep that kind of a list also for downtown because we give stats to Missouri Main Street. So I'm always kind of like a lot of stuff I can get through the permit report. But like if somebody's painting or a new roof, those things they don't need a permit for. So I also keep an eye out for those. So I did have Ralph on that list. So, but I think Sully didn't get his for Third and Locust. Yeah. But did we decide that would be creating new since he built a new garage?
Yeah, it's a new garage, but it looks old. Well, we could do creating, that'd be good.
That's that. And then
I'm confused. Why couldn't he have gotten it?
what do you mean?
The 2 houses that he did on Locust?
Because we just haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we just haven't done it yet. But we had a discussion for the one when you built the new garage. Should it be creating new history? Should it be a regular curb appeal? Because it's not, the home is not new construction, but the garage is new construction. And then Locust between 3rd and 5th. What's their last name? The people who own it now.
Oh, Oates.
Holtz.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Well, Brick Rose, the Clarys had theirs done a couple of years ago, so I kind of want to backdate.
Start with that.
Yeah.
That's good.
so we have a good working current list as well, but we have a really big back list. We have like 4 other ones after these, I think, that need to get theirs before we move into what's currently going on.
That's okay. That's good.
Let's do it.
That's right. Okay, well, that's great. You gave me a heads up on the Creating New History Award. I hadn't thought about that garage.
Well, I think it's probably still curb appeal. I really do, since the home is,
Well, but if you just
Yeah.
took the garage and you got it from the angle where you could see he did the star,
yeah, but I think that I think for what we do here and the awareness we're trying to bring, having the historic home and the new construction in the same picture, I think would tell a
okay.
greater story. Somebody else who's in our who should be in our backlog that isn't because he's not downtown is Verdines. The massive amount of work they did on the Herschel House. Oh, all the way on the other end of town, on East Fifth Street,
Oh, yes,
down by the kindergarten.
with the
A
columns on the
tremendous,
back. You get a good view of it from the train.
tremendous amount of work on that. I mean, they completely re-landscaped the whole outside, repainted everything. They did a lot on the inside too, but we don't pay attention to that, so.
No. That would be good. Okay. Jasper House, 320 Lafayette Street.
There's an
Anything-
appraisal out right now. We're getting it appraised.
Good, 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 good.
Once we get that back in, we'll know, we'll set it out to bid for sale and get a minimum price that we think we're comfortable with, so.
We appreciate that because it had not moved for some time, so that's good. The budget report,
We have not spent any more money since last
Yeah.
week, so.
and if we can be of any assistance, if you need one of us to write a letter or help you, if you're, anything you package for what we would like, let us know.
Okay.
And information plaques, we've got on hold for the moment.
Right.
Conferences,
Oh, one thing on the informational plaques, we're gonna budget that out until, I think we had until 2022 or something, because we do a 10-year budget, because we're not, at some point, we're gonna not be doing $4,000 a year worth.
Yes.
So I think it's gonna give us a deadline, hey,
Well, I think we've done 3 years, we haven't done any.
right, so let's get a list
so-
of what we wanna do and where we wanna.
Because I think we're, the
Set a
last.
finish line for that.
Yeah, the last conversation we had about it was that we want to plaque the individually nominated properties.
because the work was already done.
Right. And, they should have some kind of recognition for being individually nominated on the register. But we have to figure out what we want to do if it's a private property, blah, blah, blah. And then the last thing was what finish the north-south streets. Because we did Elm up to 3rd Street. So I think we just have like really one more block of Elm Street and then a couple hit and miss on a few of those other north-south streets.
Did we do Old Dutch? I don't remember seeing one there.
Not yet. We haven't done Old Dutch because we only wanted to do 5. And so we were kind of moving up the street. So Old Dutch hasn't gotten theirs. And then in that next block, we have the Calvin and so on and so forth. So I'll count those individually nominated ones and I'll find my list.
Yeah,
And
it'd be
see-
good to set a finish line of where we're gonna.
I'll try to get you at least a roundabout total of how many we think we might want to do
Okay.
still.
And we still don't have it on the Haynes building or the chamber?
But
The Haynes-
in
the
there, they have the plaques.
Yeah,
But
they're,
they've got the plaques?
yeah.
Okay, well. Okay, conferences. The National Alliance of Historic Preservation Commissions they have a national meeting every 2 years. And this July, it's in Des Moines. So if you're gonna go anywhere in July, go north. And I am going, but if anybody else wants to go, I've got a book that's got some of the programs, and it's very good. And Des Moines is reachable. And, but unfortunately, we don't have money to help us get there, so.
Well,
We do.
There is a little bit in the budget.
You
for
just have
that.
to request it.
Yeah.
And it has to be approved.
Well, if nobody else is going, I'll request some then, because,
Yeah.
hello, you laugh.
Like, I'd have to look, I thought there was seven grand?
Yeah,
A
there's
year, maybe not
there's a
that much.
chunk in there and we very rarely get into it because
Yeah.
we forget.
Well, registration would be nice to get back. We're gonna drive, but, that's fine. And I've got the hotel reservations.
You can email a request to Jamie and we'll get it invoiced.
Okay, thank you very much. Whoa, that would be great. And I don't know of any other conferences. Does anybody have, I can't think of anything else that's going on at the moment or coming up. The Calvin's always on the list, but I don't think anything's happening.
The Calvin is there.
Do you go by that on your wagon ride? Did you show
I do go by it on my wagon ride.
the group?
Mhm.
You had the Missouri Main Street people?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I say, there's the Calvin.
And no comment. If anybody's aware, you may not have seen the Facebook had a thing, the Missouri Main Street Connection, I think is their official title, and they were doing for Historic Preservation Month, they were traveling around the state with a marked car, This Place Matters, and they were here last Wednesday evening, and they went on Danielle's haunted wagon ride
Oh, fun.
tour. And,
So we're doing the haunted history wagon rides Wednesdays in May for Preservation Month. We still have tickets available for Wednesday night, and we're also going to set up at sunset. So we'll have the wagon down there, and we do 3 tours, 45-minute tours with the horses and the wagon. And I do tell ghost stories, but it's more of a vehicle to talk about the history of Washington and our buildings. And at the end, people always tell me they learned something. They don't really tell me too much about the ghost stories, but they like hearing the different things about the buildings that we
that's
know.
the lure, and then she slaps them with the history.
Because if I say, come on my history tour, you're like, hey, that sounds great. What, you want me to pay for it? Tell you a ghost story? $25 a pop. So put on the makeup, the whole 9 yards. So
Costume, the whole
I have my whole
business.
costume as requested by Rick Marquardt. When I got approval from downtown, Rick says, are you going to have a costume? And I said, well, I want a costume. And he goes, I vote that we put money in here so that she can have a costume. You can't have a good tour without a costume.
That's right.
Now I have 2 because I didn't want to die in the summer.
Yes.
So
Yes.
currently I'm a lady in white so that I'm not wearing a black top hat and a black skirt and what I have been wearing because I want to stay on this plane of
Exactly, right.
existence.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
don't wanna
feel the
lose your
need to
other
visit the other plane because it's hot.
Absolutely.
So, and we had a great time. So I think I had 7 on each wagon ride, We have, our limit is 12 per wagon ride. So it's a lot of fun.
That's great.
Found out that horses are like giant cats, and if they come across something they've never seen before, they assume that it wants to kill them. So one of the horses had never seen a storm drain that went across the street before. So when we were on Oak Street, that was a lot of fun. Now we go through the parking lot
Good, good.
because she's still scared of the storm drain.
Oh, my.
Is that your ride?
No.
Okay.
It's been a while since we've had the horses out there, so I can see where that would. The only thing I have under other business is, quite some time ago, Jamie gave us a copy of the Washington Historic Preservation Commission application for certificate of review, and I had put a couple of things on the bottom. She said, you know, if there was anything to be added, we could put feedback in that. And so under, at the bottom, describe exposed exterior changes, including materials, design, placement, attach a copy of elevation if available. I thought if we added a requirement more than just, you know, that was pretty vague. Type of materials used and color, materials on replacement windows, and will changes match existing features? I mean, directly ask them to respond to that. So if anybody has anything else to add, or if you think that's all right, we can give that to Jamie, and she could add that to the form, so that we would, when we see the application, we get a little more detail, because a lot of times the questions you come up with are those things you want to know. Well, what is the material of the windows? Because often on these, you just can't make out what it is. I mean, you're going, now, what is that? And that helps. If we get, the more detail we get, the,
Especially if the applicants aren't showing up.
yeah, if they don't come, we have no one to ask. I was really impressed that Ben came, because as many times as we've talked about signs, he had never been here before, so
Oh, he came here to defend Driftwood.
I couldn't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Because we had a long conversation about Driftwood.
I know there was a lot of
Because
conversation
it was
about
so
that.
big. and
Yes,
Neon-y.
yes, yes.
The only other thing that I have for other business is the architectural treasure hunt is currently available. Jamie has it up on the website, and we have hard copies at the post office. It was in the Missourian. We did our roadblock, which is a half-page ad in the newspaper. And then we have one day on eMissourian that happened at the beginning of the month, and we'll have another day on eMissourian at the end of the month. So if you know anybody who wants to do it, we've already had 2 classes come in and pick up class worths of kids'
great.
architectural treasure hunt, so.
That's good.
KMOV called me and asked me questions, but I didn't see a story about it. I don't know if they're still planning on running that, but
Well,
Wow.
that would be awesome.
That would be
they asked me
great.
for a copy of the application, just more information, and
Wow,
Right,
so.
that's pretty cool.
that'd be good. I hope
Please,
we'll
come out,
be-
look at our buildings.
Yeah, I hope we'll be able to follow through on working with the television stations to get more exposure, because that benefits everybody.
Yes, we have more than just, you know, terrible things that happen here. You
Exactly.
should come out here when there's not a building collapsing or a tornado.
Right, or, you know, somebody at gunpoint, and which has happened, not often, but, and, you know, tell them about our great restaurants. I always say, look at me, I'm living proof, you can eat well. Okay,
Carol.
well,
Because you're glowing.
I'll motion
Well,
we
that's it.
adjourn.
okay, there you go. On that note, okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next meeting will be Monday, June 18th at 6 PM, same time, same place. We are adjourned. Well,
Well,
gets people's attention.
Jojo, I'm gonna let you keep these. And they don't have to hand them to you. You can tell them you got some already. I already read over all this.